Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Hope you're doing well today on this Tuesday, March 5th. Let's see what we got here today. Eight of, what did I almost push up? Eight of Swords. Somebody I get this. Okay. Of course, I'm struggling to really say out the gate because we know what this card projects, but I get the sense that it's a projection, as a matter of fact. It's what someone would want to be true for somebody, for them to be blocked and bound. It's like somebody is sending those vibrations or working perhaps even behind the scenes to try to inflict this isolation. Oh, okay. Because what I'm seeing with the Six of Pentacles, it's almost like somebody's trying to pay people off to do some dirty work. That's what I'm getting. I know what the card means typically, but yeah, somebody, it's like somebody, not only is somebody trying to pay people in the background, it's like paying people, forgive this expression, but this is just how it's coming up. It's like paying straight up crackheads to do some dirty work or some type of vagrants, whether their drug of choice be crack, meth, pills, whatever, maybe even paying them. Like if you get into it, those crumbs that he's sprinkling into her hand, it's like paying someone in their addiction to some degree, or paying someone in their vice for some type of exchange of work, favor. You know how you could pay people to cut your grass or paint, that type of energy. Like you getting the job done at a fraction of the price of what you would typically have to pay for it to be done a certain type of way. But also in that regard, that also means that you might not be getting the quality of work or execution. I feel energy on that word. That is like you get what you pay for type of energy. And I wouldn't be surprised if they get paid. Maybe they were promised half because he's giving some to one person but not to the other. So they're getting paid. Maybe this person's giving them half of their payment, whatever that may be, with the expectation that a job would be fulfilled or completed, and then that would be the fulfillment of the payment as agreed. But I don't know. I'm feeling the liberty to say, because I said this is a projection, and that meaning that it doesn't feel like something that actually is. It feels like what would be intended to be for someone of from an external intention or projection of sorts. And now coming with this energy, which I almost never see, I try not to actually see the next card coming up, which is why I usually turn it over before I pull it out, because I don't want to influence the bottom energy, the overall energy. But that's exactly what somebody wants to do. And just as it was exposed by my own hand in this moment, is probably how it's going to be exposed for what it is in real time. And also how I get the sense that, as I said, it's not going to be fulfilled as intended. It's like with this Eight of Swords energy, which is in essence a pretty tragic position for someone to be in. This is not good energy. This is some entrapment of sorts with the Eight of Swords, either some spiritual entrapment or actual jail, as a matter of fact. So this is someone trying to pay off some interest to either inflict harm on someone or trying to pay off some interest of some interest for a means of entrapment. And it's given that if it's not like crackhead vibes like I'm getting, again, please don't be offended. This, if you know, if you don't and you're offended, this is not making light of anybody's vices or anything like that. It's the energy, okay? And because of my come from, I know that energy very well. So if you know that energy very well of what a person in a position such as this means to be or do when they even look for a lesser value of an exchange such as this, instead of, because first of all, number one, you know what you're paying into when you're paying into someone's vice. You know that they're most likely not going to go eat with that money, and you also know that's also saying that you're willing to get it at a fraction of the cost to suit your fancy, whatever that may be, but still at the expense of someone else's detriment, as I said, because they're not going to go necessarily eat with that money. So all of that to say, it's just it's given an icky energy, which means that which is why it's no wonder to me that it's just a failed attempt at something, at some diabolical plot, because as I said, they're either going to run off with what they got and never get the job done, or it'll be a poor execution of the job because of the energy that they hired or enlisted. Shoot, they might mess around and be high. Oh, so that's what I was going to say. But I am getting drawn more into that energy, and I don't even know holistically why, but obviously there's something there. But what I was going to say is either they're paying someone in that actual vein of what I'm speaking of, paying them by their vice or paying into a vice, or they're paying people that are, it's like they don't really have the access or the influence that would see this job to fruition. Like, say for instance, because this is scales here, like somebody paying some low-level clerks to try to, like, in the justice, in like a courthouse or something, or some establishment or facility, whatever, financial institution, whatever the case may be, to create some favor for them in some way, shape, or form, particularly financially with the Six of Pentacles is what I'm getting. And remember, sometimes I see this as fake justice. So this is somebody that may, even in a diabolical sense of the energy that I'm speaking of, would be trying to create an imbalance, like tip the scales in their favor, as a matter of fact. So they try to pay off some inside access to do that in one way, shape, or form. But these individuals either don't really have the capability, the influence, or like amateur energy to some degree. Maybe not really to what their job actually is, but in regards to things such as this of a more diabolical nature, it's like taking a risk on people that really don't do this, you know, like they don't really get their hands dirty in this way, so they don't have that come from, and then they mess around and get caught, you know what I mean, because they don't cover their tracks, or they, you know, do things too anxiously or whatever, or they just really can't get it done because they don't have the access and the reach. They're too low level on the in the range of what's needed to complete this task to actually do so. But somebody is clearly desperate in some regard to take the chance anyway, or because they have to pay like they weigh, like they have to get it how they can because they can't afford to or don't have the access to pay into what would be a sure seal of the deal, like someone at a higher level, say an actual lawyer or a court official or a judge, or, you know, something of that in that regard. They can't afford to pay on that scale, so they take the lower level chance and they get lower level results is pretty much what I'm getting. Now that was a whole mouthful for just 2 cards, but that's what I'm feeling. So yeah, they had to lay that ambition to rest, it seems. Let's see. Queen of Cups. Okay, let's get a couple more. What's that? 7 of Pentacles. Somebody made a poor investment. After that 6 of Pentacles, they're realizing that there was not money well spent. There's a message. Let's get one more. Let me get one more after that. See where that Page of Pentacles seems like a delayed message. A delayed message to some degree that has appreciated with time, or delayed offer, like something got held back and now it has interest on it, because we're going from the Page of Pentacles to the Knight. Maybe something that started off kind of small, or started off in one regard, and because it was delayed, it's now increased. Let's see. Is that the Justice? No, King of Wands. Ooh. And now somebody's sad about it. Or disappointed. We got the Queen of Cups here. All right, so where did I start? I said that. Oh, okay. So this was supposed to be the hit, right? The hitman. So, or something, some attack, some point of attack or projection of attack. Maybe even just to put someone, to make someone feel like they're in fear. Like, you know, like not even to actually do the job or cause the offense, but to make someone feel like they're endangered in some way, shape, or form, to be paranoid or feel unsafe, feel insecure. Insecure is a big one for sure with those sword energies, with mental energy. Yeah, so it could be someone sending psychic attacks or creating a hostile, I almost said environment, maybe, especially since she's surrounded by swords, but it's given like the energy. When I say environment, it feels like it may not be the physical environment, it may just be the psychological state of being. So how can I explain this? Because someone may not be in, the intention may not have been for someone to be in physical danger, but to make them feel like they are, to make them feel like they're isolated, they're alone, they're, you know, unprotected, they can't trust their own intuition or their own intellect, even for that matter. And yeah, intuition too here with the Queen of Cups. It was supposed to kill that, because if you can't trust your thoughts, if your thoughts are conflicting, you certainly can't trust your intuition, which is even deeper than what's on the surface. So somebody wanted to, it was an all-out attack on an intuition, on someone's spiritual intel. There it is. So what's the crackhead energy? What was that going to do? I think that's how it was projected. Like, what I'm sensing is like somebody was paying people off to create hostility against someone, like say even to create a narrative of hostility or attack against someone. That's why she's blind, because it's not something that can be physically conceived of. But if you have a whole bunch of information swarming about you, narratives about who you are, what you do, what you don't do, how you do it, how you get your money, where you know, how you raise your kids, who you're dating, who you're not, who you know, all types of stuff, information floating about you, that's almost creating like a golem of you that doesn't even really exist, but it makes an impact on who you are because it's the influence on those that are perceiving of you from the outside in. Now that to some could be very damaging and quite harmful and impactful to the psyche, particularly if you're one that cares about what people think, or if your livelihood can be affected by it or impacted by it in a negative way. That was the intention, to create hostility around someone's character or their reputation. There it is, thank you. That would influence the fluidity of their life. You know, to create to create imbalances in a way that would manifest themselves in the natural, to the point where, let's say in a practical sense, a whole bunch of information swarming about you, so people aren't patronizing your business. They don't tune into your post. They don't like your pictures. They don't call. They don't even want to fool with you. And to some degree, like, people keep a distance from you. That can project a certain message in your reality that, as I said, like, I'm out here on this limb by myself. Nobody's interested in what I have to say. Nobody's interested in this product or service or whatever it is that I'm offering. Nobody cares about my pictures. Nobody thinks that I'm worth engaging with, or nobody wants to hang out with me. Like, all that energy, the whole time it was somebody kind of playing the dozens, is what I just heard in my head. Like, probably really cracking on you in some, some salacious way, is the word that I hear, causing these infractions on your character behind the scenes. And there it is. Maybe that payoff energy is maybe not so much about actually getting work done. It could be part of that too, but it could even be feeding people a narrative, breadcrumbing people with different ideas of which they really have no means to really follow up on, because they wouldn't go to the source anyway to know, you know what I mean? And it's somebody with that six of pentacles, like I said, creating fake justice, that presents themselves to be trustworthy or even a credible source of information, that people would just take it at face value. And the vice of it is, if we're going to get, like, if we're going to transfer it into this energy now, may not be crackhead, may not be actual drug, but it's the information, like the juice, the gossip, that's human, what do you call it? Like narcotics, drama, and the tea, as we like to call it. So that could have been the exchange, where it's like someone propping themselves up to be able to position themselves a breadcrumb people about your life. Maybe it's you, I don't know, but about your life, in a way that they would eat off of it and then go, carry it on to the next person. Like, it would spread like wildfire, or create some type of effect by way of this sullying of the character of this particular person, strong enough so that it would impede upon any potential success, right? But where it all kind of, like I said, as in the very beginning, it doesn't seem like that's the projection. That maybe was the motivation and the intention, maybe the actualization of this plan. But where it kind of fell short is somebody wasn't so engaged. As I said, you kind of have to be tapped into. You have to kind of be what do you call it, like an addict of such energy of sorts, to care what other people think, to care what other people do, or to to thrive on that exchange at all, in order for it to really take effect. The Queen of Cups is not that type of energy. It's somebody that's really concentrated on what she's got going on internally. When we're talking about water energy, her own emotions, her own spirit, her own, mastery of her own spiritual energy, before she's worrying about what anybody else has to say about it. Or, no, it's just not, it doesn't take effect in that way. This is a Queen of Cups, so she's mastered a certain groundedness of emotional balance that wouldn't allow her to be so affected, even if the information itself was coming back to her. It wouldn't have the same potency as it was intended to have from the source that it was inflicted from or projected from. And so this is where, is where this information became delayed to really manifest in the way that it was intended. It's like it started off with the small, like here, still pentacles, right? A small little breadcrumb. Well, the reason why she blah 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 is because blah 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 blah. What? For real? No way. You serious? Yeah, you know how stories grow, right? And then it becomes this, right? Well, such and such told me that she can't blah 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 because of blah 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 blah, and then blah 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 blah. So it grows. It does grow and takes on an advanced form, but it also, because of the nature of the force fuel here, that would need to almost be gasoline for this fire, this wildfire of sorts. It doesn't really go that far, or people start to maybe put the pieces together. 1 + 1 ain't equaling 2, and maybe it grew for a little bit, maybe it slowly kind of got around to certain ears and certain crowds and certain circuits, but eventually it either came to a stop, or as I said, it just didn't make the rounds that it had the intentions to make, that it was supposed, the traction that it was supposed to have. And somebody is salty about that, because that was like the master plan, to let the information kind of do, like I said before, trying to get somebody else to do some dirty work. It was to let this information, let the foot soldiers do the dirty work by carrying this information around and around, knowing that it had the potential, 6 of Cups, knowing that it had the potential to spread like wildfire if, and connected to the right conduits of sorts. But it's like all those cups spilled over. It didn't really pan out the way that it was supposed to. And then we go from the 5 to the 6. Yeah, somebody thought they were somebody was just looking to create some type of narrative. This is what is giving me this their own little storybook of, I don't even know, a pity party, a sob story, a woe is me type of story. Oh, so it was like a projective energy to flip-flop it. Somebody, that's where it is. Okay, so somebody was projecting this narrative, literally not even projecting it. They were the author of the narrative to begin with. But what it was supposed to do is project this flip-flop energy of creating someone else as some type of villain or victimizer, and create themselves as some type of victim. When we all know with projective energy, almost always it's the other way around. Especially those that like to get others to do their dirty work, the intention was diabolical in the sense to pretty much project off what they were doing onto someone else, and let that story be the one that carries the torch. It backfired. Something backfired. How did it backfire though? I feel like it definitely didn't get the legs that it was supposed to have. Even though the story may have expanded, it didn't move the way that it was supposed to. And I feel like because it didn't, it was slow to move, it gave time for the truth to catch up to the illusion. That's what I'm sensing. Whether it be people going to do their own research, or things just being revealed or unfolded in a way like the truth of the matter of what was actually real, or somebody being exposed in a way with this 5 of Cups, because this could be shame or guilt, somebody else being exposed in such a way where it's like, hold up, Well, if that's true about you, then this can't be true about her. You know, it's like the truth finally caught up to the lie, and the two things couldn't coexist. It didn't make any sense. Oh boy, didn't make any sense. Yep. Let's see. Oh, got a reversal. Oh, what? And a lie it is. The devil is a lie. And a bitch, according to this. A lying bitch. Woo, look at this. The Queen of Swords in reverse. If that's not the epitome of liar, and not just somebody that lies, but somebody whose tongue is just like, ooh. Oh, Yolanda Adams. Same. Oh, that was a breakthrough. Open up my heart. I'll post that one down below. Damn, somebody else. That's gotta be a name for blasting it out the house, because that's so, you gotta be able to hear that, because it just completely bombarded my reading. But, that's the energy that, to pull me through. I open up today when my world seems below. Guide me until I'm sure. I open up my heart. That's the end. This is somebody with an open heart, a pure heart that was dedicated to themselves in that way. That the very antithesis of energies that would be caught up in this dynamic here between the devil and the Queen of Swords in reverse. That would have needed to be the vibration to be attached or entangled with this intention here. That's what somebody didn't really account for in their plans, because naturally as humans we generally do care about what people say about us and what the impression of us is, or what the acceptance of us is, considering like it may not have been what was heard or spoken, but what could be perceived by just reality, people not engaging in what you're doing in a social way, and what type of message that can send to the psyche about your worth, your value, your worthiness. You would need that. The intention was to be depleted to this state of depression and guilt and shame and worry and insecurity, and just all of those dense energies that do nothing but pull you down spiritually. That was the intention of projection there, to create such a hostile environment psychologically, I would say consciously and subconsciously, that would render someone into this state of being. And that's, I mean, that's the darkest energy you could want to inflict upon somebody. And I get that it was either for the purposes of someone not being aware. That's the only other energy I could pick up from the Queen of Swords, is just being completely unaware, unhinged, not objective at all, undiscerning as well with self, other than it actually being physically an enemy of sorts to someone that, you know, like someone that was probably jealous, you know, that made it their mission to spread these lies and these fabrications for the purposes of destroying someone's character. I mean, the Queen of Swords in the reverse, man, that's somebody that's jealous, that could be narcissistic, definitely a liar, definitely verbally abusive, if not physically abusive, because this is upside down. So that means somebody could actually take action with her abuse, or just be so abusive with her language or words that it could cause like irreparable damage, if that's the word. And then what is she open to in the most reversed way possible? Like, but this devil energy. So not only is she upside down in her own truth, but she's open to the darkest nature of herself. This is not just someone who's tipped in the scale on the lower frequency, but that wants to be there. That's where they choose to be. That's where they feel they belong to some degree, or at least they enjoy it. They find pleasure or take pleasure, or at least have some satisfaction in just being dark and evil. That's a dangerous soul right there. Yeah, and then you got the Queen of Wands. And this could even be that same energy, but just let me see. I'm gonna see what comes next. But it could be the action, as I said, like just kind of solidifying that point that this wasn't somebody that just was going to talk about you. This was somebody that took some action to really do some harmful things, maybe to your finances, to, you know, to create some type of obstructions to your prosperity. But that could happen just by way, like I said, of just bad mouthing somebody, you know, talking about them, ruining their character in some way could stop their money. You know, people not really trust you to want to work with you, or patronize you in some way, shape, or form, or just talk to you, you know, like just that alone. And it was a tarnish on your attraction. That's what it is. Like the information was to be disparaging against, because the Queen of Wands can be an attractive force, aesthetically and materially, even spiritually so. So that was all in line with the intention to just really pull somebody down. I mean, make it so that you can't manifest for yourself. You can't attract anything good, or you attract like minimal. You manifest very minimally and slow manifestation at that. That's what I'm picking up on as well. And what does that also do but reflect a certain message to your reality? Like, well, damn, I guess I don't have what it takes, you know. And the Queen of Wands is powerful. So imagine all the passion and energy put behind things that drive you, you know, enthusiastically, and you only getting back a Page of Pentacles, or your money is slow, your business is not really gaining the traction that you're, you know, that matches the energy you're investing into it, or there's not as much of an interest in what you're expressing, to match, you know, to really align with your your ambition to do so. You know, what that can do if you're not a strong individual in spirit and in truth is it can push you back to feel like, well, maybe this is not what I'm supposed to do. So somebody was trying to be discouraging to someone's material manifestation so that they could impair their spiritual actualization, is what I'm getting. So that there could be no evidence to someone as to why they should go on, let alone if they could go on. You know, like just quit while you're ahead type of energy, when lo and behold, it was all interference and illusion. It wasn't real. Yeah. But you couldn't know that unless you kept going. And this could be the energy of that wounded warrior spirit of someone that keeps going and pushing and trucking, gets knocked down and gets up again and takes a loss and then keeps on fighting, you know, like just always feeling like, anyway, that it's always a struggle and a battle just to do natural things that feel natural to the senses and stuff. And it could also be, again, this worn out energy that's been doing everything in its power to push back against someone's prosperity to the point where they've worn themselves out. It could be either one of those energies. The difference is the Queen of Wands is still sitting in the Queen of Wands energy. This oppositional force has already been established to be in the Five of Cups. Complete despair and distress at this point. So it just solidifies that even as they might still persist to have influence or create interference in some way, shape, or form, they don't even really have the energy to put, hence probably why they having to pay or enlist other lower vibrational energies, because they don't even have it to give anymore. They've exhausted themselves worrying about what the hell other people are doing instead of worrying about themselves and what actions they need to be taken. It slowed down their own money, and they probably didn't even realize how so until it was too late. And here's the King of Cups, the King of Wands. This is what the desire was. But as I said, look where he's looking. This is where he was to be on his way to, but he has completely exhausted his energy on things that were not fortifying for his own throne, worrying about somebody else's. So here's that lost potential over here under the Five of Cups of what could have been, what should have been, what would have been had he taken the steps in this gradual process to really cultivate his own creativity. Instead, he spent everything that he had, maybe actually so, while we at it, and we started with the, you know, with that Six of Pentacles, on poor investments, because the Seven of Pentacles flipped up and flipped back too. Poor investments. Having ambition for all the wrong things. And a lack of self-control, it seems. And maybe even, I would say, because I just got this energy, switching energies, or maybe that is the reflective force when I'm saying like someone that has a vice, that the obsession, which definitely can be represented here with the Devil card, some type of addiction or obsession, the obsession of possession itself, to possess someone's prosperity or their, you know, to even possess the narrative around them, to be the one to dictate what that gets to be, to author that reality for someone, unbeknownst to them or otherwise. That's obsessive. That definitely demonstrates a lack of control, at the very least, if not something far more concerning than that. You can't really that's an impure passion. You can't very much so operate in, you can't fully function in your own purpose if your passion is diluted with or tainted with some perversion of another. Or some perversion of pride, maybe. That's what it feels like. Some perversion of pride and ego. Yeah. It just gives us somebody just really, and they put their back into it too. Like they really spared no expense, particularly in passion and ambition, to try to bring about a certain outcome. And the sad thing is that if they had invested that into something a bit more certain or sustainable, there'd be no question of their success. But because of the impure nature of their intentions, it's like they reign supreme, you know. It's like you win, you got it. Nobody is going to beat you. Like, you get the crown of perversion. Like, but who the hell wants that? You know? It's given to the point where, to know all the great lengths that someone went to in these efforts is so astounding that you almost have to give them credit for it. Like, damn, like you did all that? Seriously? Like, you thought of all of that? You put all that together? You enacted every little bit of this plan, and this was your, you were the mastermind behind all of this, huh? And the executor, you know? It's astounding to the point of almost, you know, what's the right word? Impressive, if it wasn't for how dark and demonic it actually is. I don't know if anybody wants to be impressive in that way, truly. It doesn't pay off in the end. And in the end, you end up feeling stupid, because it's like you can recognize yourself. You can sit back and recognize how amazing you are at what you did, and then still have fallen short and feel like, well, damn. Either way, it's going to be like, well, you'll either drive yourself insane trying to figure out, you know, how you should have done it differently, or where you could have tweaked this or tweaked that, and it would have all worked out. I would have got away with it. If it wasn't for you mangy kids, you know, that type of energy. Or you'll be looking at yourself like, damn, I should have had a V8. Like, that would have been much better use of my time and energy than to have done all this only to get down to the 5 of Cups, and at best, the Page, and in terms of material is concerned, the Page and the Knight of Pentacles. It's like, even if you did have a material harvest or manifestation off of it, like some material return, it still didn't match up. The means didn't really what's that saying? The means, the end didn't really justify the means, is what I'm trying to say. You're still dissatisfied, still disappointed, still imbalanced, and you missed opportunities to really elevate yourself to the highest degree of this suit in this case. Someone that went from being a wounded warrior that could have taken that energy of wisdom from their experiences and become a master of it. But now they stuck in a this is like a stuck energy, the Nine of Wands. And it could also be jail. Let's be clear. It could actually be some type of imprisonment of sorts, maybe mentally to some degree, or energetically, like wanting to do something different or move forward, but kind of being stuck in a rut and not being able to pull yourself out of it, maybe not having the energy to even, like I said, like exhausting themselves. You don't even have the passion, the oomph, the ambition, the drive for anything but continuing to kind of like go over and over in your head as to how you could have done something differently or you should have. When you need every bit of to muster every bit of your strength to actually push forward if you're going to make it to this energy at all. Drop the whole deck. Hold on. Talk about no energy. And that's the backfire type of situation in the worst way. Because it's like, what is given is like the devil collecting on everything you owe and sending you something on the other end. Like I'm here for what you owe me, and now I'm here to give you what you owe. That's this energy right here under the devil card. That's wild. And that also gives the indication that nothing good is coming fast, because in the upright, the Eight of Wands is like fast communication, news, movement, advancement, upgrades in power. It's like somebody's being stripped of everything good, like something's coming and just swiping it up, everything that was promising, and exchanging it for something that is completely inverted. Like it's a hell of a shitstorm underway for somebody. Damn. Just a few more, Spirit, will you? I'm gonna finish this row. Came out kind of a struggle. Yeah, because this one, she's struggling to maintain reality. Now it's like she's struggling with her own projections. Whatever this energy is, whether it's a she, he, it, whatever it is, it's like somebody can't even, somebody might be having a psychotic break with it coming in the struggle on the side. And it was already upside down. Somebody might literally be having a hard time getting a grip on reality to I would say to make good choices, but it's deeper than that. Like just to, I don't even know how to put it, like to be sane, literally, like somebody that is just easy to anger, that maybe having some type of like delusions or hallucinate, what is the word that I'm trying to, like schizophrenic type of episodes where they see things that aren't, or they're just hypersensitive to their surroundings. Like literally can't be trusted. This is what this energy is giving me. Like can't be trusted. Like probably needs to go seek some professional care, like psychiatric support, that you wouldn't want to leave around knives. No shade. No shade to anybody having real mental health issues, but this is something different here. This is somebody that really brought this energy on themselves by way of how they chose to be possessed, more or less. They chose to lend their vessel to dark forces exclusively. And now they got what they were looking for. It's like the devil said, don't mind if I do live inside of you. Thank you for inviting me. And they came in with the shoes on, smearing shit all over the rugs and going in the refrigerator anytime it felt like it, and feet up on the couch, fuck your couch type of energy. Got this person just like a complete loss of control of their psychological senses, I suppose. And they need help. They need protection from themselves and protect others to be protected from them. That's what I'm getting here. Like somebody that you wouldn't want to trust with sharp objects, or your life for that matter. That may be saying all types of stuff, like and believing it at this point. Like their break with reality is vast. It's like a great void between what is real and what is, I don't even know, like maybe they begin to believe their illusions, so that's the distortion there, is that they just have no touch with the reality of who they are anymore. It's lost in some abyss. I would feel sorry, except for I really don't. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, of course, I would never wish it on anybody to not have control over their senses and their psyche. But consider this is coming from a Queen of Swords, someone that knows better, but chose to do something different. This ain't no dummy. Somebody that knew better. And they took all of their intelligence, all of their intellect, all of their brilliance, and willfully invested it in dark plans and schemes and plots. And the spirit said that it's all fair. It's all fair, baby. You're only getting back what you've been putting in. This could have been the main ringleader in the narrative, spinning the narratives around town. And all that stuff is just like coming right on back, to the point where some things that may not even be true about this person that may be circulating. Some, how it's like a story can go around And it may not even actually be 100% true, but because this person has exhibited a character or they've been exposed a certain type of way, it's like, well, shit, hell, I wouldn't put it past them. It's like it wouldn't even be shocking or unbelievable at this point because they've already exhibited the capability for that level of creativity, like it could be. Whereas somebody where it's like, nah, no, that's not even, and it could be a true story, or have some ring of truth to it, but it's like, that's just not, I don't know her to have that character, or I didn't know her to be that type of person. That doesn't make sense to me. It may be true, but it don't make sense to me. You rather have that, especially about negative things circulating about you, you rather have that shadow of a doubt on things that are not congruent to who you are than for somebody to literally just be able to believe anything because you exhibit the capacity for anything, like no surprises whatsoever. Like, yeah, probably don't need no proof whatsoever, but just like, yeah, I could believe that. Like, no. In any case, your reputation, your character precedes you, and the truth always prevails. And the funny thing is, it's like the spiritual justice of it all is that even if something was, for a character such as this, even if it wasn't 100% true, it wouldn't be the worst tarnish on somebody's name for certain things to, be implicated, because perhaps to some degree they're capable of much worse that may not even be may not even be known or exposed, So that's the difference between such characters. When certain people live a certain righteous life, or at least try to, and that just means it with integrity, nothing more, nothing less. There are certain things that just don't stick because they don't make sense. And 9 times out of 10, when things don't make sense, they're probably not true. Period. So it pays to live a life of integrity for the most part, just being true to yourself and who you are. And hell, that means that if there is a certain storyline that surfaces and it is 100% true, and it may not be favorable to who to who other people at least want to believe that you are, you will still wear that with a badge of honor, truthfully as well, also, because it's just a part of your narrative, and there is no reason to be guilty or feel ashamed about it at all. For what? For who to judge? You? Them? They? Please. That's also an expression of integrity, where you don't even care what's being circulated because you could stand up to the truth of whatever it is and just simply confirm or deny it at your will. And that's how I live personally. Like, I don't care what is known, unknown, truth, lie, fabrication, exaggeration. It don't really matter to me. It really doesn't. I don't care what people think about me or what they think they know, what they want to know. For real, all you really got to do is ask, because anybody that truly knows me knows that I ain't never had a hard time telling the truth. I probably tell the truth too damn much. I could probably keep it real too much. And there's absolutely nothing that I've ever done, past, present, or I could undoubtedly say future, that I would ever be ashamed of, because I'm the type of person where I know that my journey is my own, and anything that I've engaged in, I've done so willfully. I've never been a victim, and I've never been a sheep, really, for the most part, definitely not consciously so. So everything that I did at my own will, and by my own decision, and I take accountability and responsibility for every experience that I've had and every outcome that it's amounted to. And so nobody can ever hold anything over my head especially not in the earth of any human form, because it was my choice. And that's the greatest power that I have always and will always possess. And when you live in that integrity by that righteousness, the only the only entity or energy that you answer to is your most supreme self, to know, like, is this something I would do again? Maybe, maybe not. Is it something I want to engage in now? You get the power to say yes or no. And Supreme Source, whatever that looks like to you, to measure up as to whether or not this is something that enhances that righteous life and that righteous path. It's one thing to do things and learn along the way by experience. It's another thing to learn a lesson and recreate that experience over and over and over again. You really have nobody else to blame or thank but yourself in that regard, you know? So it's the people that don't live in that with that spirit of integrity that try to project energies onto others to see some reflection of themselves, or are offended by the reflection of others who do live in integrity because they don't, and so they want to blemish that reflection with projections or with false narratives or lies or illusions and all types of stuff, or just want to be somebody else altogether because it feels too hard to be themselves. That's the issue. You not being in love with the skin that you're in. And that's a you problem. That ain't never going to be a me or anyone else problem, any more than your inability to do that would be the problem for anyone else. Even spirit itself, Supreme Source itself, because it loves unconditionally. It made you this way for a purpose. All right, so we got the Nine of Cups, and it kind of came off to the side. I'm gonna take it reverse, since that seems to be a theme here. Somebody's just dissatisfied. That makes sense. They thought they were going to get a wish fulfillment by these great ambitions, these ambitions of grandeur. Pardon me. And they just, nothing has satisfied them, and it's like they can't be satisfied. They're living a life of dissatisfaction at this time. Imagine that, where even the best of what you could have is lifeless. It doesn't do anything for you, and not to mention if things go wrong, then it feels like your whole world is falling apart. It's unfortunate. All right, one more and we out of here. Back to this. Back on, it's the loop. This is so sad. It's a damn loop. Somebody is stuck in a loop that they cannot break the chains off of. And it's given, like I said earlier, I don't think I finished that thought, where the supplier has become the addict. Now, they were already a little bit addicted to, I did say this, that they were addicted to the obsession and possession, but it's starting to depreciate even in lesser value. I was saying before, it's like a flip-flop, a reversal of roles here, where they used to be the ones breadcrumbing, and now, oh, that's what it is. Now the way that they talked about everybody else, or breadcrumb these narratives and storylines and this and that, is how they're being talked about. Their fall from grace, their secrets, their like I said, some of it may be true, some of it may not be, but this is the energy backfiring and returning. And to some degree, if there's any truth to this here about this like shitstorm that's happening, the streets is talking big time, because there's a lot to talk about. Like I said, if there's one thing we humans like, it's some drama. and some trauma that's not our own. Shoot, we even talk too much about our own, don't we? Overshare. And this is like somebody's talking about how this person is down bad. Down bad. And it's really a blemish on their character, because it's not just like, oh man, you know, you heard about such and such. With this smug energy here, this nine of cups overturned, it's that people like are, it's sad to say, but this is what I feel, like people are pleased about this person's downfall, because it's like, you know, when somebody falls from grace that they feel deserves it, you know, a character that, kind of the difference of what I was saying here, where it's like some people, you're like, nah, I don't believe that. Nah, that don't sound right. And then there's some people is like, you would want to have some information because you can't stand them anyway, or you always thought something that was a little funny anyway. So that's the type of energy that the news that travels fast, because it's like, it's real tea. Like, girl, you heard about what happened to such and such? Yes, da 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 da. That, and they ain't like you anyway, or they thought you was funny anyway. So it's their pleasure almost to spread the word. That's the energy here. Oh, that's unfortunate. And it's all fair. It's all balanced out. You get what you give. And now it's like this person is becoming the one that's in dire straits, needing a helping hand, needing a handout, somebody to take pity on them, have mercy on them. And I don't think that they're getting, it's like they're getting the crumbs that they were willing to give. Like, oh, here, go cut my lawn. You know, $5 type of energy. Not getting anything near what they're worth. Like, And imagine the effect that has on the psyche, to feel like your value has to really, you know, for what you're able to manifest, to speak to the value of your essence. But in this case, this is someone that's not cultivated to see past that or deeper than that, so that actually becomes their reality of what they truly measure themselves by. That's why it's such a deep, dark hole to dig yourself out of when you get to this 5 of Cups, because those energies seem to just multiply like a metastasized cancer to some degree. You open one wound, it spreads to the next organ. You open, you know, you try to heal that, it spreads. You know, it's all consuming. Damn, 10 of Wands is a burden, and it's like you willingly picked up these burdens. You did this. These were your choices. These were your actions. Nobody said, here, take this, take on this load, take this burden, do this, do that. No one can be forced into doing anything. These are all choices. And each one carried a heavy load. Each one was its own burden. And now someone has the opportunity to release it at their will. But now it's a matter of the courage to actually lighten your load at this point, because somebody doesn't really know how to relieve the pressure. They've heaped so much onto themselves by way of their actions that it's like you don't really know what fire to put out first. This is a wildfire. This is a wildfire. Wow. 10 of Wands. King of Pentacles. Oh, that's, to me, I look down at the King of Wands again, and to me it's given exactly what I said with the 9 and the King, what it could have been and what it should have been. with ease, with grace, with honor, with dignity. Somebody wanted to they thought it was the easy road, but it actually ended up being the hard road to prosperity. And now they don't have anything of value to really show for it, even if they have money. That doesn't even measure up in this energy. It wouldn't even, like I said, the end does not justify the means. This is that depiction right here. The means did not justify the end. So, oh man, I don't know why I'm getting all these messages. I swear, I was just it is what it is. Let me just stop it already. It is what it is. I guess it's important to know, well, I don't know if it's important, but I guess it's maybe assuring to know that certain energies are not escaping justice in this season, because that has been the case, that people have been evading judgment and justice for a long time, doing things that have just been completely unfair and unjustified, like I don't even know what more to say. So if there's any resonation of this message and you're not, of course, one of the parties in the lower frequency, then I suppose that's the blessed assurance here, is that the energies that I'm speaking of that have been running rampant, doing a lot of damage in the earth realm, at least being intentional to do so, or motivated to do so, are finally getting checked. And you know what that means with the spirit of temperance here and balance and harmony. That means if those lower frequencies are getting checked, then that means the higher frequencies are finally getting their just desserts. That's just how it works universally. So stay focused and continue to do what you feel is right, and in commitment to your integrity, your righteous path, whatever that looks like uniquely for you. And know that it may have been a slow manifestation, a slow burn, but it's going to be worth it in dividends, the reward. Like for you, the means will most certainly justify the end, magnified in dividends for you. It's the inverted, the upright of the Eight of Wands for those that have been forwardly putting in as much passion and effort and ambition into things that are sustainable and forwarding for creation. So it's all fair. All is fair in love and war. And certainly ain't nobody keeping score but the Most High source of all. All right, so thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.